Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Mil, and I'll be the Sergeant at Arms today for today's meeting. I welcome you all to today's meeting of Sattvic Toastmasters Club. So before starting the meeting, I would like to mention the following ground rules we follow in our Toastmasters meeting. As Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Second one, put yourself on mute if you are not speaking. That will help not disturb other guests and other speakers. Please turn off your video if you're stepping out of the meeting. And finally, support the speakers with your warm smiles and clap. So with this, I announce the meeting as open, and I hand it over the mic to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Raghu.
Thank you. The presiding officer for today is Vrunda. Vrunda will be the presiding officer. Vrunda.
Thank you, Raghu. I would like to call, thank you everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. Welcome fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the Sattvic Toastmasters Club. As the officiating president, I would like to recognize any guest we have here today. So welcome all guests here. It's value your presence here today. Thank you for attending our meeting. Today we have a keynote speech as well as some prepared speeches. And we hope everyone will participate in either the meeting roles or the table topics, especially guests. Let's start this meeting by having a Toastmaster for today, Pratik, to come to the podium. Thank you. Over to you, Pratik.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Toastmasters Pratik. I am the Toastmasters of the day. So the theme is very different today. The theme of the meeting is self-talk. So self-talk, like most of you will be knowing, and what is self-talk? The first question which will come in your mind is nothing but speaking to yourself. Now, when we do self-talk, when we do it, you will be able to understand it, that we are doing the self-talk all the time. Whatever decisions, whatever we are doing the self-talk. So when we are doing it all the time, it is happening subconsciously. And when we are doing self-talk consciously, we are able to take, like our mind is able to take control over it. So basically what is happening in the self-talk? The two people like mind and heart are talking with each other. When mind is taking control, you are actually doing a conscious self-talk. And when a heart is taking control, which is happening most of the times, so you are doing a subconscious, maybe self-talk. So always there is a tussle between the heart and the mind. Let me give you an example or a story. Once my wife, ordered Imarti. Imarti in India is a round orange colored sweet, which is made with urad dal, and it is it is made after dipping in a sugar solution. So it is very sweet. So you can like think of, you will get a lot of calories out of it. So they were like, she ordered almost half a kg of Imarti, and we were a family of 4. So my mind was saying that I should not eat more than one. But my heart was saying, so many Imarti, I should eat it. Like some people say, you should live the moment. So I wanted to live the moment. But my mind was saying, no, Pratik, you have to see a long-term, short-term pain, long-term gain. So there are so many, things which were coming in my mind. And this is what is called self-talk. If it is happening subconsciously, if my heart is winning the race, I may eat 3 or 4 of Imarti. But if my mind is winning, I will eat only 1. So this self-talk is happening all the time with everyone. but sometimes we have to be conscious about it so that we can take care of our long-term goals. So these all things will go on, but today we are in a Toastmasters meeting. Let me explain you the format of the meeting. Any Toastmasters meeting happens and divided into 3 categories, but in this online Toastmasters club, it is very special. So we first of all have a keynote speaker. That is the first part of our meeting. Then second is prepared speech round, then a table topic round, and the final round is evaluation round. The first round, which is a prepared speech round, is helping you to improve your communication skills. The second round, which is a table topic round, helps you to improve your on-the-spot speaking skills. And the third round is a leadership skills. Like it improves, which is an evaluation round, it improves your leadership skills. So this is how our meeting is divided. Now let me go on, and with me and to support all these things, I'm having a tag team. The full form is timer, counter, and grammarian. So I would like to introduce. So now what happens? You know, our heart will keep on saying so many things, but mind takes care of the timing because it's important. And to take care of that, today for timer role, we are having DTM Raghu. So I pass on the baton to Raghu to explain the timings.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Pratik. Well, we all are used to traffic lights. That's the only way we can stop or rather pause ourselves, right? Time is an important aspect. One thing that I keep saying every time is you respect others' time and people will start respecting you. In Toastmaster, it is a discipline that we follow. Start the meeting, end the meeting on time. And also, when you can restrict your talk within the time period, your communication will become effective. Today, I'm here to help you in timing your speeches so that you can become effective communicators. We have our keynote speaker who is going to give her speech between 15 to 20 minutes. I'll show green card at 15, at yellow at or amber at 18, and red card at 20. So you have a grace period of 30 seconds even after red card. Please ensure to complete your speech before red card so that you have enough grace period. It is same thing for speeches. We have an icebreaker today. Icebreaker is 4 to 6 minutes. Green 4, yellow 5, and 6 red card. And a prepared speech of 5 to 7 is 5, 6, 7. But table topic is 1, 1.5, 2. And then for our evaluation, it is 2, 2.5, and 3. I hope these timer cards will draw your attention and ensure that you will be able to complete things in time. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu, for the brief description of the timing, and definitely we will do it and we will follow it. Yeah. So like I was talking about heart and mind. So when heart is speaking, it will go on flawlessly. But when mind comes into picture, you will use filler words. So, but for taking care of that, you don't have to depend on your time, people, on your mind only. So we are having a counter who is Toastmaster Miral to take care of that counter role or the filler words. I request Toastmaster Miral to come on stage and explain the counter role. Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. As an R counter, I will be looking out for specific words, repetitive words, repetitive sentence maybe, and I will be giving at the end the report for each and everyone who will be speaking today. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Miral. Now, a very important person who is there with us. So again, I will relate it with our heart and mind. So when our heart is speaking, our heart may speak a local language also, right? Our heart may make a mistake because it will go on flow. But when our mind comes into play, it corrects our sentence to no, we have to use only English language because it has to be used in Toastmasters. So there is a person who will take care of grammar, and the grammarian of the day is nothing but Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pratik. So hello again, everyone. Today, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language usage, and I will take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So for today's meeting, the word of the day is enthralling, which means fascinating, holding one's attention completely as though by magic. Here's an example. Her storytelling was so enthralling that we lost track of time. So I would encourage everyone to use the word enthralling, the word of the day, in your speeches. And whenever somebody is using the word of the day, I would ask all participants to show their encouragement by using the visual claps or snapping your fingers or putting in your hearts or smileys in the reaction icons. So with that, I hand it over back to Toastmaster Pratik and looking forward to the great meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda. So today we are really going to have an enthralling meeting. Why? Because we are having a keynote speaker also. And to introduce her, we are having Toastmaster Dr. Mary. So I hand over the baton to Toastmaster Dr. Mary for the keynote, for introducing the keynote speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. A very good day to everyone, wherever you are coming in from the world. We're very honored and totally privileged to have our keynote speaker, Dr. Remya Krishnan, as well as her husband, Dr. Raj Kumar, coming with us for the Q&A session. Today is really a wonderful day because we have two power people with us for our meeting. Give me the opportunity to introduce Dr. Remya. Dr. Remya Krishnan is Associate Professor and Head of Department of Ayurveda Pharmacology at Rajiv Gandhi Ayurveda Medical College, Puducherry, Mahe. After her bachelor's degree, she pursued her postgraduate degree and a PhD from Rajasthan Ayurveda University. She has authored a total of 5 books in various topics of Ayurvedic science and evidence-based Ayurveda, aside from publishing her work in various journals, together with her husband, Professor Dr. Raj Kumar. With more than 21 years of clinical experience and 16 years in the academe, she will share with us science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda, in short called SBEBA, which is a novel methodology for standardized decision-making and scientific practice of Ayurveda. This protocol is being taught through seminars and lectures called the SBEBA Wisdom Series. Dr. Remya Krishnan is an editorial member of the International Journal of Ayurveda Pharmacy and Research, and also an expert committee member of Standard Treatment Guidelines formulated by the Ministry of Health, Government of India. One of her important books, The Mission of Science in Medicine, highlights the scientificity and importance of SBEBA. She's also known for her articles in the national newspapers and her appearances in Doordarshan and other TV channels. We also have with us Dr. Raj Kumar, an equally prolific Ayurvedic physician who has 26 years of clinical experience, 19 years in the academe. Husband of Dr. Remya, as I mentioned earlier. Both of them will answer all your questions during question and answer session. So very thankful and privileged to have both of you. Let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. Remya Krishnan and Dr. Raj Kumar. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. It's indeed a great, immense pleasure and privilege for me. I'm really excited to be here in an entirely different platform where many exciting things are going on. So thank you for your invite, and it's my pleasure to be here. Okay, so I think she had given us very beautiful introduction of mine. Thank you for that also. So without taking much time, I think I will directly go into my short presentation as you were telling about the time management here, right? Shall I proceed? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, please. Yes. Share screen. Would you like some help with screen sharing?
Yeah, yes, please. Because I have already opened it, but I cannot see it in the share screen option, my window.
Toastmaster
I don't know.
Raghu, could you please assist?
Okay. If you are, did you click the button, green button, share screen, Dr. Remya?
Yeah, I did it already. Yeah, I did it already.
So you need to double click on the screen, whichever you're trying to share. Yeah. Done. Good.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Still coming up. Dr. Ramya, do you want to send this presentation? Okay, I think I see it now. Sure. You might want.
You are able to see it?
Can you open your PPT? I can see myself
Yeah,
here.
it's open already. It's open. Yeah.
Okay. Can you go to slideshow?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I hope it's visible. Yeah, to all. So this topic, you may be wondering, I don't know about how much you know about Ayurveda, but Ayurveda is a medical science in India, born in India, roots in India, and it is called science of life because it is not only dealing with medicines and treatments, it is dealing with human being on the whole in all aspects of health and disease. So it is called science of life, and science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda has some uniqueness because Ayurveda as such, what is seen today, it is different from science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda, which is intended to be as it is. So I'm coming into the first point. What is the underlying difference between Ayurvedic science and Western medicine? Ayurveda, as I told, it's science of life and science of medicine for man, while Western medicine focuses on new drug development. I hope it is visible, right?
It's perfectly visible. You can
Yeah.
continue.
And the science of Ayurveda is unlike Western science. It is a natural, deterministic science. Deterministic in the sense you are able to predict the future with the present things, whatever is available in the infrastructure of the science. Why, how, what, when, where, why not, everything, how, all these things, why and how, are answered within the science by certain logics of theorems, principles, laws, all this, just like mathematics, physics, etc. The science of Ayurveda is having everything inside to explain man. So it is called which it can be, these tools can be applied in any period to explain man and his any sort of disease which is happening in any period as long as man exists in the form of man. So deductive reasoning is used here in deterministic sciences. Deductive reasoning means always from general to specific. We can explain specific things starting from the general with regard to a certain situation in a certain individual in a certain condition. We can explain from general theorems to specific logics and principles to verify, clarify, and confirm its application of the science. Just like we know what is the difference between science and art, we are learning science first and then we are going to lab, we are seeing the application of what we have learned and we are verifying it in the real situation and we are confirming and concluding the observations. Same thing is advocated in the science of Ayurveda. It doesn't start from unknown compound, unknown situation, unknown things. Just like Western medicine, it starts from an unknown compound and later on collecting observational data, classifying, analyzing. But unlike that, Ayurveda begins with knowledge, specific and specialized knowledge regarding what you should do, how to explain, how to understand a situation, how to predict what will happen, and observe and then interpret the observations based on theorems, logics, and principles. This is what is called deductive reasoning, and it is what is advocated in Ayurveda. And the scientific method of practice and research in Ayurveda is only by the adoption of inbuilt logics, just as in the way of physics and mathematics. We cannot explain physics by biology or biology by chemistry. It is not possible. Everything has its own natural logics and inbuilt reasoning. So this is one unique aspect of Ayurveda. But unfortunately, Ayurveda is not being practiced today as science-based medicine. Science in the sense, what is science is what I explained. So what is this science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda? It is the conscientious, explicit and judicious integration of Ayurvedic science-based evidence. It is not probability-led, can be, cannot be, may not be. In 2 people it has worked, in 5 people it has worked, but out of 10 people, 3 people didn't work, 7 people worked. So we should be able to explain why those 3 people this treatment didn't work. Everything deserves explanation and reasoning by a science. This is what Ayurveda is explaining. So it is science based medicine. So it is all the decisions about care of individual patients. We don't care for the entire population at one stretch. In an entire population of 100 people, 75 people survived, 25 people had severe side effects by a compound, an unknown compound. We never start from unknown compound. We start from a known science. We are using known compounds, known formulations, which are explained for their how, why, what, when, where, etc. within the science. So this kind of knowledge-led application of medicine is explained. These are our knowledge resources. We have 4 knowledge. These are our evidences. Our evidences are not. We have 2 levels of evidences in Ayurveda: inbuilt evidence of science and outbuilt evidence of observations in the patient, led by the application, logical application of science. So what is this logical application? It is explained by judicious, rational use of our resources. There are wrong ways of decision making which are very common in Ayurveda today. Today, unfortunately, there is no clinical audit in India for Ayurveda. So anybody can prescribe, sell medications online. Anybody will see any herbal thing as Ayurveda. There are so many problems. So we are working to make an end to all these things by emerging the science-based medicine of Ayurveda. See, these are the main things. Ayurveda is considered as tradition, but Ayurveda is a science. As I told, tradition is a set of, as WHO also told, it's a set of beliefs, culture, experiences transferred through generation. Ayurveda is not belief. Ayurveda is not culture. Ayurveda is not experience. It is science. And also convention. Now, right now, decisions are made like this. Everyone does it this way. So it is perfect to do this way, to adopt this medicine. It's not like that. We have to go back to science and verify our actions by science-based reasoning. Again, replication, another wrong way which is happening. So clinical questions are there. What is this condition? We don't have like it is COVID-19. We don't have COVID-19 or some other H1N1. It's not like that. We have to explore in the host. For infective fever, we are considering host factors. What is happening inside the host? Ayurveda has a very big chapter dealing with fever by all means. So it is not asking us to search for bacteria, virus. It is the immune response to all whatever it is, like bacteria or foreign body, whatever it is. Immune response is what is creating infection. So it is what is explained in Ayurveda. How do I diagnose is explained in science of Ayurveda. Based on that, we have to decide. So it is not like one medicine for COVID-19, one medicine for H1N1. It's not like that. Sometimes we treat without medicine also within 3 days, because reversal is done by innate immune system. SBEBA has emerged with 7 crucial discoveries. I would proudly introduce them before you to revolutionize Ayurvedic healthcare. With each of these discoveries, we are saving hundreds of people all over the world. So it is like hundreds of doctors, as Dr. Mary knows, and she explained also, they are undergoing training in these SBEBA methodologies, and all of them experience the significant difference between what they did before trial and error and what they are doing now after incorporating the guidelines. So discovery 1, I don't want to explain about the technical aspects. This is Agandha dosha. It is considered to be the basic underlying cause of all diseases within the body, intrinsic cause. It is not in extrinsic cause. So we were able to explore this in its entirety, so that it makes a revolutionary change in the way of diagnosis and treatment in modern age diseases. So this is what is called updation. We have to update in our intelligence. It's not always. Deterministic science cannot be updated always by technology alone. It requires sharp, cultured intelligence in science. And discovery 2 is the intrinsic cause of infection and inflammation. SBEBA for the first time has in Ayurveda has scientifically identified, established and published Ayurvedic intrinsic cause mechanisms of all kinds of infective and inflammatory diseases. We don't have, as I told you, name is unimportant to us. We are having diagnostic principles, we are having treatment principles within science, which we have cultured, deciphered, and we have made it on the target by our research. Currently what is happening is empirical trial based. As I told you, it is what you call blinded administration of medicines and collecting data, which is going on based on inductive reasoning, but that is wrong. And SBEBA has emerged unique and effective scientific diagnostic and therapeutic strategies to identify and reverse infective fevers. We provide free scientific training. Now also it is running. The project is called Hastalamba VFFA. We are not using any medicines. We are advising scientific diet and regimen and reversing infective fevers of all kinds, which include dengue fever, typhoid, even it can be bacterial or whatever it is. And with the help of non-medicational first aid alone, those people who are willing to do that, they are registering for free in our online platform, and they are availing their service and getting cured within 5 days. And we have initiated a free service. That is what I explained, Hastalamba VFFA. Our coordinators and volunteers are selflessly engaged in this service 24/7. And we have more than 500 documented completed cases of infective fevers in mild, moderate, and severe stages. And still the documentation is going on. So with this project, nobody needs to be worried about what all kinds of virus will emerge tomorrow. That is the best thing of this. We don't need to fear whether new virus will come or new things will appear, because we are solely caring for the host factors. So not only that we are enabling people to cure by themselves, but also we are educating them to understand what to do. We are teaching them non-medicational first aid, and we are enabling them to live a panic-free life in future. And discovery 3, we have discovered in Ayurveda the intrinsic cause of hypersensitivity and autoimmunity for the first time. Nowadays, these conditions are treated very aimlessly, like there are no standard treatment guidelines in Ayurveda. So it is the first time that SBEBA has introduced standard treatment guidelines for these conditions, which are very rampant in society today, which are also published in our publications. Allergy, autoimmunity, all these conditions. So this, we are making it streamlined. And there is a breakthrough discovery in hypertension. As you know, essential primary hypertension, more than 90% cause unknown in modern medicine. But in Ayurveda, for the first time, Dr. Rajkumar has done his PhD work in exploring the cause of essential primary hypertension, and he has evolved standard treatment guidelines, and now there are hundreds of patients who are able to maintain normal healthy life without any medication after completion of our protocols. And breakthrough discovery in Ayurvedic gynecology, physiology, pathophysiology, it's Ayurvedic aspect of neuroendocrinology, pharmacology, everything is explored. Immense grace to God for able to do this. And we are able to publish it as a publication called Ayurvedic Gynecology, which is a purely a technical publication. In these innovative discoveries, the importance is that they are saving hundreds of women all over the world. We are able to reverse the conditions which are strictly intended for hysterectomy by mainly by bleeding and other causes, endometrial hyperplasia. There are major hormonal issues now, hormonal dysfunction, everything can be reversed by scientific nutrition. Our method is fragmented dosage approach. We are not loading medications into patients. We are giving fragmented dosages, pinch by pinch medication only, in the right dose, right time, for the right period, and intending people to save themselves. And the sixth discovery in metabolic disorders, SBEBA has emerged scientific strategies for type 2 diabetes, micro and macrovascular complications, and it was published in Goa seminar, national seminar. Hypo and hypothyroid guidelines nowadays very common, even autoimmune hypothyroid, very rampant in society today. So SBEBA has emerged. We are enabling people to come out of medicine as well as disease. That is our policy. Educate before medicate, and educate throughout the life. That is our policy. So we are enabling people to think, understand. Just now one Toastmaster was speaking so nicely about the importance of thinking, the involvement of mind in making rational decisions, judicious decisions, and emerging self-control. And that is absolutely right. What is right for him when we are educating, it is a lifelong blessing for the patient, because he is able to stay out of medication and disease. That is the main thing what we are doing. And the goal of scientific medicine, in my humble opinion, it is the entire focus is to be on the healing of the patient and not new drug development. This is our policy. This is what Ayurveda advocates as it is. Ayurveda doesn't advocate go and explore new compounds, new medicines, because Ayurveda already has more than enough medicines, you know. So our what is to be streamlined, what is to be developed is intelligence of physician, intelligence and wisdom of physician. And this can happen only from the beginning, from the science of Ayurveda, and nowhere outside. In medicine, the basement knowledge to apply is to be publicly tested for clarity and objectivity, and not unknown compound-led baseless trials in Ayurveda. The objective of scientific medicine is never to block, mask, or suppress enzymes, pathways, and hormones, but rather to reverse the causal mechanism of disease and heal the patient. Yes, medicine is absolutely intended to heal the patient. This is the definition of scientific medicine in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, the scientific definition for medicine is that which is healing the patient or enabling to heal the patient, and not blocking, masking, or something else. It is called as impure treatment or unscientific treatment in Ayurveda. And most important point I would like to highlight here is that science enables us to see things as they are, as observed in the natural sciences of physics, chemistry, and mathematics. We are able to see things as they are, without a bias, and not as we are. Ayurvedic science has unbiased, inbuilt, objective, rational standards, which were forgotten for centuries, which we are trying to emerge by our humble research works. What is fundamentally wrong, why and how, everything can be explored in the patient only and not in the lab. These are some of the unique contributions effective diagnostic and treatment strategy. We provide free scientific training in non-medicational first aid, free service, and we have more than 500 documented cases. There are no science-led prescribing standards. Very unfortunate. Otherwise, Ayurveda would have become the global medicine now, saving people all over the world. There would have been Ayurvedic medical colleges all over the world. Unfortunately, it's not happening only because of the reason that there are no science-led prescribing standards. I mean, Ayurvedic science led by Ayurveda physicians. That is why this is happening, like tradition, herbal medicine, etc. It is misinterpreted. And we are striving hard. We are on a struggle to end these misconceptions. Hence, Ayurveda medical professionals, despite of getting formal training, stay diffident and practice Western medicine. It is very unfortunate, and it is quackery only that they are doing it, and mixopathy and polytherapy, and they currently follow blind medicine treatment led self and shared experiences. Yeah, I'm just winding up. So the thing is that what is different with conventional Ayurveda and SBEBA, I would like to explain here. Suppose most of the patients who are coming to us will not be having one disease, he will be having multiple presentation of hypothyroid, diabetes, osteoarthritis, liver dysfunction, and he might be coming for allergy to us sometimes for a different disease. So right now, what is given by conventional Ayurveda is, herbal preparation for anti-cholesterol, anti-diabetic, anti-arthritic, anti-acid. So it will be like a package of 5 to 10 medicines. This is what is going on today, with or without modern medicine, I mean. So a patient in India, typical patient, will be on minimum 10 to 15 medicines a day. But what we are doing is this: we are able to integrate different conditions, cause mechanism in the patient, in his own unique conditions. We are able to explore and integrate by the principles of Ayurvedic science-based medicine, and we are able to assess the disease for multiple cause mechanism effect and its strength. We can determine the treatment principle. Once you know the formula, you know how to solve the problem. So formula are the golden standards in mathematics. Just like that, diagnostic and treatment principles are the golden standards in Ayurveda, which are forgotten today in teaching, training, and practice. So we are trying to emerge it. So, this is the uniqueness. We can treat by 1 or 2 scientific medicines in fragmented dosages, along with a correct, rationally chosen medicated water and scientific diet. We are able to reverse multiple diseases in a specific period by scientific diet and 1 or 2 medicines. After stopping all the other medications, then thereafter enabling the patient to come out of disease and any sort of need of any sort of medication. So this is what SBEBA management is focusing on, and increased accuracy and efficiency of Ayurvedic physicians we were able to make for the past. We have started this in 2015. We have started training programs all over India, and now Ayurveda physicians have improved in their accuracy and efficiency and cut off the necessity of interdepartmental transfer. Nowadays it is happening in Ayurveda also. Many department to department patient will be shifted to adding on medicines, but this can be cut by SBEBA method, reduce the need of manufacturing an aimless number of medicines. So India will become a developed country very soon. If this is adopted, we can save precious raw drug resources, and also we can save the pockets of middle class and low class citizens. And innate transparency, predictability, and reproducibility, we can expose this before the world. We have no secret formula. We don't have any secret herbs or code. All we have is a entire scientific science, which can cause all this, which is entirely transparent, predictable, and reproducibility. The hallmarks of scientificity is there for Ayurvedic science. And definitely that would establish the innate scientificity and potential of this Indian system of medicine and enhancing trust of the people. So the wide data of clinical practice of SBEBA trained physicians is the growing evidence of quality rational practice of Ayurveda. You can see them in our page also, Facebook page of SBEBA Wisdom Series. Quality control in Ayurvedic practice is possible only by conducting regular clinical audits. This is the point I'm highlighting to Ministry of Health also, because right now in Ayurveda, no clinical audit is there and anybody can do just anything and harm the public. So we are striving hard to emerge standards for that, clinical audit, and the emergence of publications, training programs, etc. have increased demand for Ayurveda by public. Nowadays, people are demanding for SBEBA treatment, and we are able to reach maximum people by increasing the number of practitioners. These are our publications: Unveiling the Truths in Ayurveda by Dr. Kumar. This is my first publication, How Ayurveda is Evidence-Based. Ayurveda doesn't need to attach evidences. Attached evidences begin from scientific evidences within, primary evidences. How, what, when, where, why. Out of 10 people, 7 people survived, 3 people died. It is not scientific medicine in Ayurveda. It should explain why 3 people died, and it should prevent such kind of deaths and harm. So this kind of evidence-based medicine is explained in my book, and the mission of science in medicine is open to all. It explains how and why a medicine should follow science of human being and not what you call statistics of data of unknown compounds. And these are all technical books, Dravya Guna algorithms and gynecology books, open to all scientific practitioners. Only thing, mission of science is open to the entire audience of the world. These are our, you can see more details of SBEBA in our, this, what you call website. And you can also see my presentations in this slide share. There are lots of presentations, and you can also see my YouTube channel, Remya Krishnan. If you type, you will get my YouTube channel where I have emerged so many presentations. And also our website ID is given. Thank you very much for your patience. And I hope I didn't consume excess time. Thank you. Thank you for your.
Thank you very much, Dr. Remya Krishnan. We have been enthralled by your presentation. It is not just information. I felt like I was sitting in a medical school lecture. Really fantastic. And even though I know quite a bit about SBEBA, but today I really understood exactly what it is. Intuitively, I knew that this was something really what society needs. I'm a doctor myself, and I know that inevitably I'm like a drug pusher, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. I'm a hospital-based doctor. Okay, fine. Emergencies, there is no other way. I have to give these people some drugs. But beyond that, I've always been looking for answers. For the benefit of the audience, I have been in touch with Dr. Remya Krishnan since 2016, when I first stumbled upon her website and her wisdom series. I cannot really remember, but that was that moment when it just kind of, it was like a lock and key. The key just fit and it turned and the door opened. And I've been following her since 2016. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wouldn't take up too much time, though I have a lot of things to say. I would like the Q&A session to start. Dr. Rajkumar, I'm inviting you to the stage as well. Hello, we can see you. Very happy that you're with us. Please start the questions. I know there are going to be many. First one we'll have from Lakshmi.
Good morning, Doctor. The presentation was really marvelous, and it was very easily explained for a layman to understand, and it got really influenced, really. My questions are, I have two questions. That is, you were talking about Hastamal Lambha, that is VFFA. Can you please explain what exactly is it? Is my first question. And is there any prerequisite and post-requisite for the medication to start out with Ayurvedic treatment? And my third question is about neuroendocrinology. As I am also a part of this neuro-related one, I am more interested in knowing in detail about this, doctor. How does this work in Ayurveda?
Namaste all. Actually, Hastalamba is a Sanskrit term. So it means helping hand. So our motto is we are not treating, we are helping the patients to get cured by themselves. We are giving, we are educating what she said just now. We are educating how to understand what is happening inside. So we are educating them what all are wholesome food for them, what all are wholesome regimen for them, and we are making them avoid all those things, and we are providing instructions. Our volunteers are calling them and giving instructions how to uh, adjust their lifestyle, and medicated water is also prescribed, and the patients themselves are taking care of themselves, and they are getting out of all these diseases, means all these infections. We have got all kinds of infections like viral fevers, from H1N1, dengue fever, COVID-19, and severe form of COVID-19, and so many other bacterial infections like typhoid and other conditions. For all these conditions, we are making aware of the patients. We are making them self conscious that what is wholesome for them, for their condition. Like they might be having so many other comorbidities like diabetes or hypertension or hypothyroidism. So along with that, how they are going to manage their infection, so that we are teaching them and we are taking care of them, and we are giving regularly instructions morning and evening, and doctors will also be attending them, and within 5 days we are helping them to get cured. So that helping them to get cured with our helping hands is termed as hastalamba, which is technically mentioned in Ayurvedic science. And there are no prerequisites or post-requisite. Prerequisite means on we have to register, you have to register, and some blood tests will be advised by the physician, means coordinator physician, and your status will be known through this. It will be confirmed through that blood test, and afterwards also. Post-requisite is you have to confirm that your condition is reversed and the status is stabilized. For that, that same blood test will be repeated also. That is the prerequisite and post-requisite. And regarding neurology, so we are not considering something exclusively like neurology of Ayurveda, or we are considering the patient in its entirety. So we have to uh, consider all these things: endocrinology, neurology, or circulatory system, digestive system, metabolic system. So everything is functioning in an integral manner, means it will be uh, synchronized, simultaneous functioning is happening, and that has to be maintained by maintaining the homeostasis. So homeostasis, what is homeostasis is, though mentioned in Western science, it is not explained how we can maintain the homeostasis. If we are having a disease, there will be disturbance in the homeostasis, and all the systems can get abnormal functioning. Like if there is a metabolic system abnormality, like diabetes or something, it can affect circulation, it can affect excretion, it can affect nervous system, it can affect all other systems, endocrine systems. So our approach is the patient is considered as the um, factor which has to be corrected. It is not the disease or various systems that is impacted. Like if one is having a fever, we are not treating the fever, or we are not treating the lab values. We are treating the patient as a whole. Patient with his habituation, the place where he is born and brought up, what all diseases he had, what all treatments he undertook, what is the present immune status, what all diseases he is prone to in the future. We are considering all these factors, and we are treating the patient as a whole. It is not like we are treating the neurological system or endocrine system. And finally, what we are achieving is health. So we are not uh, getting out of one disease and making him fall to another disease. It's not like that. So final thing, what we are achieving is health. So we are removing darkness with health.
I would like to add one point there. Actually, you were asking about the prerequisites for Hastalamba. right? The one thing that there are certain policies for us. One is that a patient should be ready to withdraw himself from all sort of medications, including modern medicine and other Ayurveda or homeopathy, whatever it is he is taking. Some other he is doing, suppose even sponging, a common practice which people do during fever is sponging. So we are advocating not to do sponging, because sponging can adversely affect the infection. Even though it can temporarily, it might bring down temperature, but it can adversely affect the infection, status of infection, and it can aggravate the status later, worsen the condition. So there are certain specific instructions to avoid all this, and day by day, hour by hour, our coordinator physicians are making sure, because it is an online platform, we are making sure we are constantly keeping in touch with the patient morning and evening, assessing everything, and make sure that the patient is safe, healing with medicated water and scientific nutrition. This is the point. So patient should be completely ready to follow and strictly confined to whatever instructions we are giving. Then only we are taking such patients are healing. And there are many people who are emerging, because we are accepting people who have undergone modern medicine and thereafter also infection persisting. So they are ready to follow anything. More than 85-90% patients are cooperating to this. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. It was really detailed explanation, and I surely will get in touch online, offline.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lakshmi. Yeah. Sorry.
I have a
Can we have
question.
Rudal next? Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mary. Dr. Remya and Dr. Raghu, your presentation was really enthralling. A lot of aha moments for me. I didn't know so much at all about Ayurvedic, so that was really enlightening. My question is about autism. I'm hearing a lot of cases on autism in kids. I work with a school, so I'm seeing it daily too. So, what are your views on autism? Is there any hope in SBEBA for autism? And what about kids who are having all these sensory issues and diet issues? So how would you handle it? Is any hope for autism with SBEBA? Thank you.
Are you still with us, Dr. Remya?
I think the screen has froze.
Let me message.
Yeah, maybe an internet issue.
Yeah, looks like. Yes, she lost her connection. She just messaged me. Perhaps we can proceed with the program and then bring her back in? What do you think? Oh, she's back. She's back. Yes, she's back. Yeah, back. Okay, great.
Sorry for that break. I don't know what happened here. Actually, yeah. Is your question complete? May I know?
Yeah, I don't know whether you heard the questions. It was mainly about autism. Any hopes with SBEBA? Yeah. Okay. Over to you. Thank you.
Actually, I've been doing research for the past 1 year in autism. For any new conditions, as you know, autism may not be that much common in the olden period. I would say in our childhood also, but nowadays it's very common. So primarily what I want people to know is that autism is basically fundamentally an immune dysfunction. It is an immune dysfunction. Complete abnormality of immune system is happening in this condition. So there is impaired immune system functioning, impaired gut functioning, digestion also. Digestion in the sense, even when the child is hungry also, digestion and metabolism are impaired in the subtlemost level. So there are undigested matter which are passed through stools in autistic children, which means that there is leaky gut syndrome, something called leaky gut syndrome. Like the whole fruit or vegetable parts will be seen in the stool of the children mostly. So it is by impaired digestion, impaired gut, and also impaired immune system, which is causing dysfunction of central nervous system. So it is as such is it is not a neurological disorder. It is primarily an immune dysfunction oriented disorder. So what we are doing is rectifying the immune function as much as possible. It is not boosting immunity. There is no use of boosting. We cannot boost immune system of anybody. We can only rectify the deranged immune system. There are specific and specialized parameters in Ayurveda to explore a child with autism. What all aspects, some children, every child is different. As you know, some are having sensory issues more, some are having difficulty in social interaction, some regarding language, echolalia, whatever it be. We are not treating the symptoms. Some children are aggressive, parents are feeling very difficult to control them. So when we are starting the underlying dysfunction oriented approach, we are doing still on research, but whatever we have understood so far, I'm sharing with you. So by principles of immunology in Ayurveda, we are having principles of immunology in Ayurveda to intervene upon in all the conditions. So with by employing them rationally, I can understand that with stage 1 scientific nutrition, right medication. As I told you, it is not loading of medications we are doing in a conventional Ayurveda. When a child is taken for conventional Ayurveda with autism or any other neurological, whatever condition it be, he or she will be resorted to panchakarma procedures. I don't know how many of you have heard about panchakarma, but this is not considering that panchakarma is detoxification, etc. Everything is wrong. Panchakarma is not detoxification. Please watch my videos for getting clarification, because so many Western foreign countries, people are coming to India by blindly believing that panchakarma is detoxification. It's not detoxification. It's as serious as a surgical procedure. When you're resorting to panchakarma in wrong status, you can fall sick for the rest of your life. There can be chronic issues. So what I mean to say is that such ASD children or autistic children are not intended for such complicated procedures, multiple medications, etc. They need only fragments of dosages of science-based medicine based on principles of science. What kind of immune dysfunction, how much extent it is to be. So it is quite surprising. It is quite interesting to notice that with the first and second day itself, medication itself, I would say that more than 80 to 85% within 1 week itself are showing significant improvement in their mode of behavior. Like aggressiveness is reducing. Children are getting calming down. Before they were having so much of issues, fussiness for taking foods. Like they will be having specific choice of foods which they would prefer, but we can change them. We are making them back to scientific diet. They are able to stay on limited things in the diet without any fuss and mess. So even their parents are getting surprised how my child is able to stick on to this diet. They are cooperating, they are getting calm. First time when child is coming to my clinic, father will have to hold the child, but after 1 week or 2 weeks, I can see the child sitting in front of me calm. So what else is required for the world? I will not say that we can cure autism or something. We are still on the journey. But what I can say is that there is a lot of hope in scientific Ayurveda for ASD disorders. Yeah. I'm still doing it. I'm on research. I hope that I'll be able to tell better after perhaps a couple of months more.
Thank you. Thank you, Vrinda. You can communicate with Dr. Krishnan later after the meeting.
Yeah,
And
I'll do.
also,
Thank you.
yeah, I would like to assert a little bit on timing issues. I would take Toastmaster Shahid and Toastmaster Pratik's questions. Any other questions? Dr. Krishnan, could you just give a simple answer, and then Shahid and Pratik can further communicate with you. Would like to know your question, but you can further discuss. Shahid, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Remya Krishnan, for your enlightening and enthralling session. Yeah, actually, my question is like a general thing. So whenever we get a small illness or a big thing, we'll just go for a allopathy or other than Ayurveda. So even I've seen the people and myself also, I'm not inclined towards Ayurveda. And I heard, I did not experience, and I heard like there are some side effects also, like gastric issues and all those things. So how can I change my mentality from inclining towards the allopathy towards the Ayurveda, as it is being a very old uh, practice? So how I can make Ayurveda useful for my life?
We could also proceed with that question, Dr. Remya. Just give
Yeah,
him a
yeah,
short answer and then we can
yeah,
proceed and take Pratik's question.
yeah.
So we need to educate. So knowledge makes this sattva. What this enthralling community is sattva. So sattva is by education. We can change the approach, whether we should take Western science or what they are doing. If we are getting convinced, if we are able to comprehend, then everything will get changed naturally. It's not like we are asking you to take this medicine itself or not to take Western medicine. It's not like that. What the truth is, when we come to know, then we will be naturally inclined to getting cured.
Actually, we can easily change from our from this. If you want to withdraw yourself from all these chemical drugs or whatever it be, for a simple leading a simple and easy life with all these diseases, we are right now very much prone to get infections. Number one, the most danger thing which people consider is infection or inflammation. You can get a sudden stomach pain. Don't go for blindly, go for herbs and spices. That is my first advice. Don't go blindly for jeera water is good. When you open YouTube, you will find so many things like turmeric water, jeera water, clove water. Don't go blindly for that. I would recommend you to watch my videos. Definitely my videos in YouTube. They will enlighten you regarding how to understand and approach your body. You should take care of your body in a scientific manner. For all such kinds of advices or any sort of guidance, you can contact me in future also. I am ready to help you. Yeah.
All right, Pratik, your question. Let's move faster a bit. Pratik, your question
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. So I will just keep it short. So I really liked the presentation and I'm getting very much inclined towards it. I also don't use any, I don't want to use any, chemicals inside
Yeah,
my body.
question please. Question
Yeah,
please.
directly.
I'm
Directly,
sorry.
question is, I just wanted to have a right, the person in Pune, I may contact you, offline, that, whom I can contact in Pune so that, I can be in touch with them and follow this. That is the
Yeah,
only question. Or you can
I'll
message
share.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Please,
definitely.
yeah, put it in the chat. Yeah, please put it in the
yeah.
chat. Next question, please. Ishmael.
That's all. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Pratik. Yes. Next question, please.
Good morning, doctor. I wanted to inquire, there are a lot of ladies who are suffering from benign cysts in the breast or fibroadenoma. All right. So, do we have some resolution to that in SBEBA?
Actually, fibroadenoma as such is a basically hormonal dysfunction could be a cause. We have to explore. Definitely, there are protocols to explore and intervene upon such cases directly. It's not like for fibroadenoma, we have to explore the patient and decide.
So,
Thank
can
you.
online or does the patient have to be there?
No, there is no online consultation possible because we have to explore the patient properly, entire history. So it is not possible originally to have a scientific Ayurveda consultation through online, except for follow up in emergency conditions like that.
Please,
Otherwise, it's not possible. Yeah.
sorry. Please communicate with Dr. Krishnan on this issue, Ishmael.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually a very common issue. Okay, next question, please.
Okay.
Our last question, I think. Yeah.
Last question. Yeah. This is something that I observed. Right. For example, after COVID vaccination, there have been several side effects. And you also mentioned in your presentation today. So are you doing any kind of detoxification, rather a cure for that in your scientific methodology in Ayurveda? And second thing is, I also observed that most of the time naturopathy and Ayurveda are completely in two different paths. The thing is, both of them have been proven methods to resolve so many issues. So do you want to comment on?
Yeah. Actually, the thing is that as such, detoxification happens by a pure circulation, excellent metabolism, excellent drainage, internal drainage mechanisms. So I'll share you some secret things which are not meant to be secret. It should be public only. That's why I'm sharing here. Only thing to detoxify yourself, you don't need to take any herbs and spices. Number one, you have to eat only when you're hungry. Boost your hunger. Don't eat when your hunger score is not above 4 out of 5. 4 and above out of 5 only, it's fit to hunger. I mean, to consume something. If you're eating, if you're not hungry, definitely that can abnormal, or it can make your digestion and metabolism as well as immune system abnormal. Number two, engage in physical activity in empty stomach morning and evening. Morning and evening, 15 minutes. Morning, 15 minutes. Nowadays, people are doing yoga. I would not say that yoga is bad or something is bad. What I say is that the best exercise is always, for a healthy person, stair climbing exercise for 15 minutes in empty stomach morning and 10 minutes evening. Whole body movement, or even Zumba or something, badminton, whatever it is, whole body movement should happen. It's not like postures or something. They are all having their own definite values, but to stimulate metabolism. So this detoxification is done by the body itself, naturally, by excellent internal physiological mechanisms. You don't need to take in supplements or something to make it detoxifying. You are doing it regularly. Number three, you drink boiled water. Don't drink unboiled water, because the properties of boiled and unboiled are different. Not only that boiled is sterile, but also boiled water in Ayurvedic science, it facilitates digestion and metabolism. Unboiled water will slow down digestion and metabolism. This is scientifically proven in Ayurvedic science. So it is important always to stick on to boiled waters for your stimulated digestion and metabolism. So these three things, if you are taking care of, you will be maximum out of diseases, which can be guaranteed with the help of my science.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
One additional question, but the last one. I think people take two different approaches. One thing is when they fast, whether it is water fasting or fruit fasting or different kinds of fasting that they keep saying. And the other way is you do exercise and then you do have proper portions. Which one do you suggest to people?
See, definitely there should be a balance. Fasting means it is not desirable to fast beyond a certain limit. Even when you adopt it as a practice, fasting practice, it can also cause several problems. Like once based on one status, like continuous fasting is not desirable. So always more than fasting for a healthy person, boosting hunger is what is required to be done. When hunger is 4 and above 4 on 5, then only eat. Otherwise, don't eat. If you're not hungry, skip the meal. That is what is desirable than continuous fasting, starving. And second thing is what you were asking about, exercise. Yes, even if you are boosting your hunger, it's always desirable to do short exercise morning and evening. This is my point.
I would like to add. So everything should be starting from the patient or subject itself, not from some procedure or some fasting like thing or exercise, how much exercise you should do. We should start from the patient or subject, that how much he is capable of, what the stamina is. And we should start exploring the patient first, and then we have to come to what sort of treatment or what sort of regimen he has to follow and what sort of exercise he has to do. And vyayama or exercise is ayasa janakam karma vyayama. It is yoga practices are not producing ayasa, or exertion is not happening in yoga practices. So what Ayurveda explains is you have to practice exercise, which produces exertion, and that will stimulate metabolism, and metabolic activity will in turn activates immune system. So we need not concentrate on immune system or circulation or excretion. We need to just focus on metabolism. Boosting our metabolism will boost all other systems and will be healthy. So most easiest way to maintain health is to do exercise and have food according to your hunger and wait up to maximum hunger. Then everything will be perfect.
All right. Thank you. And
yeah, and it's important to reverse diseases on time. Reverse diseases on time. If you have got an infection, if you have got a hormonal dysfunction, if you have got a metabolic error, reverse it. Make sure that you're doing the scientific things to reverse it, to optimize the internal environment. That is extremely important for good immune system and metabolism.
all right, there's a question here about should it be hot or cold water? I would think it's hot water. Correct?
It's not like that. Actually, you
Body
can take
temperature.
boiled. It's based on body status. Like if you're having throat pain or something, you can have hot water, hot boiled water. Otherwise, you can go for boiled cool water. Boiled normal temperature water is also equally effective.
And one question that's been popping up here in the chat box is, how do we get in touch with the different practitioners in India? Is there a list or something?
Yeah, that actually they are undergoing training and we are not conducting a certificate program, frankly. So we cannot tell confirmingly that this person, but still we are having a list of 10 doctors all over India, only that much. But there are more than 50 or 70 doctors who are working hard to make it possible. So they should be appreciated at all. So if you visit our Facebook page, SBEBA Wisdom Series, by mentioning your locality, perhaps someone will be helping you, guiding you to reach. Yeah.
Yes, that's how I found Dr. Priya George.
Yeah,
I went
Dr.
to the
Mary knows
Facebook. Yeah, I went to the Facebook page of
Right.
SBEBA Wisdom Series. Just key that in and it will pop up. All right. So I'm very happy that everyone got their questions answered very well. Thank you. Dr. Raj Kumar, would you like to say something? You came forward.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us to this enthralling community, and we are all very much enthralled. Thank you very much.
Certificate for you for being a part of our journey, our health journey, which to me is the most important journey. I will forward this to you via email.
And
Dr.
our
Remya
best
and Dr. Rajkumar.
our best wishes to this community for doing such a wonderful initiative. All our best wishes.
Thank you very much. I have many things to say, but time has been taken up, so I'm handing over to Toastmaster of the Day, Pratik. Thank you once again, Dr. Remya and Dr. Rajkumar.
Thank you. Have a great
So, thank you, Toastmaster Dr. Mary Thomas, and thank you, Dr. Ramya, and both of you for giving us such a wonderful session. And there are so many questions still in the minds of so many people, but due to time, we are just stopping ourselves. We cannot just speak to our heart. We have to think from the mind also. So that is the wonderful session. Now we will move to a prepared speech round. Now, since we had such an interesting session, we have to skip the round of table topics. So I have requested Navya that she can take that role next time, and to entertain us in that session. So we will directly move to the prepared speech round, and the first speaker is DTM Lakshmi, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Shahid. So I would request Toastmaster Shahid to speak out the objectives. Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. Greetings of the day once again. So today my role is a evaluator. So evaluation is the engine for learning. It's bi-directional. So it will motivate the speaker and we also learn. So today's Lakshmi Nair is going to talk on the topic, I hear you. Lakshmi Nair, I hear you, Lakshmi Nair. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Pratik.
Yeah. So, Toastmaster Lakshmi, I hear you. I hear you, Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Am I audible and visible? Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate what seems to be important to you. Madam Acting President, Toastmaster of the Day, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This story happened in 2011 when I was living my previous life as a banker. I got transferred to a remote village in the southern part of India in the state of Kerala. Now, this village is an NRI pocket. The people who belong to that place were all non-resident Indians settled abroad. They have made these palatial houses where their old parents lived in luxury, but also in loneliness. Among all those newly built bungalows was this old but extremely beautiful cottage where Annamma lived. Now, since my branch was a new one and I had to work towards business development, I thought that every day I will go visit a couple of places, meet people, so that I get to know them and also understand the business potential of the area. Annamma was one of the most rich person in the locality. She was the richest, I could say, and she would generously invest into bank fixed deposits. So one day I walked into her gate. As I opened the gate, a ferocious looking Rottweiler dog started barking at me from the cage. Hearing the beast bark, an old woman came out to the veranda and started straining her eyes to see who I was. Hello, I am from the bank that recently opened round the corner. I just wanted to meet you, I said, smiling. She looked a little disinterested, but nevertheless, she gestured me to come and sit in the chair that was placed in the veranda. As she sat in the adjacent chair that was placed there, she said, "You know, I don't usually encourage strangers these days. It's not safe for someone who's living alone like me. Especially if you are from a bank, because I have no interest in changing my investments, in shifting my investment to another bank. But you are a young girl and I am bored this noon. So I think a nice chit chat would be nice," she said, smiling. Over a coffee, we bonded. We hardly talked business, but soon after, we felt like people who knew each other for a long time. I told her all about my life, and she told me all about hers. She told me how her ranger husband had built this beautiful cottage. She told me how they met and fell in love at the first sight when they visited a church nearby. She told me how he went down his knees and proposed her, not with a ring, but with a set of Victorian teacups. She told me how they built a beautiful life together, full of love and travels. I sat and listened, and I also realized that as she was talking, her eyes had started glimmering. At times, she was even chuckling like a 16-year-old when she spoke about her husband and relived those memories. I just sat and listened, smiling and amused. That day when I rose to leave, she said, "Come again. I felt good talking to you." Soon after, I became a regular visitor. She became a mother figure for me, with whom I shared all the nitty-gritties of my life and sought advice. And I became her friend with whom she would spend her quiet afternoons. I had access to almost all the rooms in her place, and she would show me collections of her husband, the things that he had accumulated during their travels to different countries. We would go for walks in the backyard. It was a huge, enthralling property. She introduced me to her Rocky, her Rottweiler guard dog, a very loyal guard dog. And when we walked through the property, we walked among the trees, I would hold her hands, and she would always be laughing and lively. It was only when she spoke about her children, she got gloomy. They were settled abroad and rarely visited her. "But now you are here," she said, smiling, looking into my eyes. Soon after, I got transferred to Gujarat. which is in the western part of the country. I had to move from there. I was a little pensive that day when I visited her. When I gave her the news, her face fell. She said, "Before you came, I was lonely and alone in this huge house without having anyone to talk to. After you started coming, my days became a wait for the afternoon so that I would have someone to talk. Now again, I'm going to be alone," she said sadly. I didn't know what to say because I knew I was not going to come back to that place. Still, I reassured her that I will introduce her to the person who is replacing me at the bank and he will be there for all her needs. I also reassured her that I will visit her whenever I return. As I rose to leave that day, she asked me to wait. She went inside and came back with a Victorian teacup set. "This is for you," she said, giving it to me. It was from her husband's collection. I took the set and placed it back on the table. "I don't need this to remember you. You have a very special place in my heart, and that is all I need," I said, hugging her. That day, when I left, teary-eyed, bidding her goodbye, Rocky was still barking at me. According to a recent research by the researchers of University College of London, loneliness is responsible for 18% of depression in older adults. As fellow human beings who live in a world full of people, have we ever thought, why? Why do we let this happen? Why can't we say, "I hear you"? Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for a wonderful story with vividity. Literally, I was engrossed in that. Thanks for that. So our next prepared speaker is Toastmaster Anthony, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Arav. So I request Toastmaster Arav to read out the speech objectives.
Okay, so Toastmaster Anthony is giving his icebreaker speech. And the objective of the speech is clear, it's like create an inclusive environment, like relaxed environment, and, introduce yourself to all the members present in the meeting. His speech title is Just Being Me. I repeat, Just Being Me. So all the best, Toastmaster Anthony, and over to you, to your module.
Okay. So Toastmaster Anthony, just being me. Just being me, Toastmaster Anthony.
I had always had a burning desire to be a better communicator, but my fear of public speaking held me back. I realized that I had a stuttering problem, and it was somehow instilled in me from an early age that I could not become a public speaker because of my stuttering. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Anthony Duran from Dominica. Dominica is often referred to as the nature island of the Caribbean. It is located between North and South America. Now, Dominica is often confused with the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic speak Spanish, whereas we in Dominica, our main language is English, and we also speak Creole. Dominica is a small island basically with about a population of 70,000, and the island can really be traveled with within a day. And growing up in Dominica, I always enjoy the abundance of fresh fruits that we have, and also our many rivers. And the sea where I would sometimes go to just to meditate or just enjoy the soothing water. It all began when I was a young child and I discovered that I had a communicating problem. Saying a single word sometimes could seem like an eternity. I was tirelessly teased sometimes because of my stuttering. So because of that also, I avoided public speaking, and also realized that my communication got worse. My self-confidence also decreased to a certain level. The belief that public speaking was not for me was further reinforced by persons that would tell me that because of my certain problem, I could not become a public speaker. Have you ever had persons discourage you or tell you that you couldn't do something? Or do you know of anyone who has a stuttering problem and it prevents them from communicating? This was a challenge that I had to overcome. In addition, I always wanted to further my education and go at university. But I also realized that the funds were not readily available, and it was also challenging for me. But somehow I realized that whilst working, I could attend university, and there I pursued my degree in accounting. It was a bit challenging, I can say also, but I managed the challenges by varying the amount of courses that I did at a certain time. Okay. Presently, I am employed in the shipping industry, where I have been for over 20 years. I have worked in several departments, which includes the operations and accounting departments. I also do statistics there, and I am also engaged in the cruise industry as well, building the vessels, cruise vessels. Okay. My desire to become a better communicator and leader has never left me. I heard about Toastmasters, and there I was enthralled by the speakers when I attended the Toastmasters meeting. So after visiting the Toastmasters, after going to one of the Toastmasters meeting, I decided that I was going to join the Toastmasters organization. There I was warmly greeted, and that encouraged me also to continue my Toastmaster journey. Contrary to what I was told from an early age, that it would not be possible, that it would be a challenge where it would be difficult for me to continue in terms of my public speaking. I realized that just being a part of Toastmasters, participating and would allow me to better to develop my speech better and become a better communicator. Also, having the right attitude and the willingness to try different things can change my life significantly, has changed my life significantly. If you never try, then you will not know what works and what does not work. I will never give up hope. I will keep trying until I become a better communicator. Thank you.
Thanks for the wonderful last lines, inspiring last lines from Toastmaster Anthony. And it requires a lot of courage, lot of push from the heart and mind both to give the first speech, and he has done that. So claps for him. So this brings an end. This brings an end for the prepared speech round. Now we will directly move to the third round, which is an evaluation round, where the evaluators will be evaluating the speeches. Our first evaluator is Toastmaster Shahid, who will be evaluating Toastmaster DTM Toastmaster Lakshmi's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Shahid.
Yeah, thank you, Pratik. Thank you for the opportunity for the evaluation. So, what an enthralling speech by our speaker, Lakshmi Nair. First of all, I'm congratulating her. The topic itself, I hear you. Really, we hear you, Lakshmi Nair. And the most important thing in the communication is hearing what isn't said. You have taken the speech in such a manner as if we are also hearing to that lady. We are in your shoes, we are listening to her as well, along with you. And the most effective thing what I observed in your speech is the storytelling. The way you narrated is very well. And the emotion you carried when you saw her for the first time, and when you spend some time with her, and when you are leaving, that emotion was carried very well. And your speech content is very good, and you have grip on your content, and your preparation is good. And as it is a story, it is very much related to us. Why? Because in day-to-day life also, if anything is happening in between two persons, if we go there and we stop them and if we hear to them, they will feel happy. So you have impacted all the audience as well, and your vocal variety is good, and eye contact is very good, and being it's your own story, you are very much comfortable in delivering this speech. And one thing which I would like to say, which take your speech to a next level, which will be more effective, is like if you can adjust your, for the next speech, you can adjust your camera a bit back so that we can see your gestures well. And what I observed is during the gestures, you used mostly your one hand, right hand. So just try to be more effective, use both hands for good gestures. So overall, it's a very good, prepared and well delivered speech. Thank you, Lakshmi Nair. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Pratik.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shahid. So for the guest, the evaluation is done in CRC method, although there can be many methods. So one reference point is there: comment, recommend, and then overall comment on the speech. So this is the leadership quality which Shahid has delivered. Thanks, Shahid, for that. Now moving on to the next evaluator, Toastmaster Arav, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Anthony's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Arav.
I hope I'm loud and clear. Okay, cool. Anthony, you were absolutely just being yourself. when you were speaking. Great start, great enthusiasm when you were starting. What I liked about the speech was you gave an introduction about yourself, plus the introduction about, you also told us about the place where you are living right now, that is Dominica. Many of the people, you know, are not really sure where Dominica exactly is and what exactly that place is. You told us about, many things about Dominica, how that place is, how are the people, what language do they speak, and that was awesome. Second thing, what I liked about is you asked a question to the audience. The question helps, in engaging the audience, and it makes the audience to listen to you, to focus on you more. Your speech was very well structured. You talked about your childhood, your middle age, and what you're doing currently. What you can do to improvise your speech was would be like when you were transitioning from your childhood to the middle age, or maybe to directly to the your working profession, like how you're doing right now. You could use something like um, fast forward, like fast forward. Today I'm doing like this, so people know okay, there is a time gap between that, like you have done something in this. Secondly, body language. You were your hands were like this. I mean, I don't know, you were looking down sometimes. Maybe your notes were there, which is completely fine. And hand gestures, maybe you like moving here and then, and explaining more by using hands would create more friendly environment maybe, and people would really like that and understand more you, but like understand you more better in that way. uh what I would like to say, like, let me give you an example how you could do that. Like while you were asking the question, you were very serious asking that question, okay, which is perfectly fine. That was a serious question, no mocking in that. What you could have done, like, how many of you have faced this similar problem? I know many of you would have, or maybe you can pick one or two and ask them. That would just take like 30 seconds, so that would have been great. Overall, the speech was fantastic. You did your job, you introduced yourself, you told about yourself, you cleared the speech of the objectives. Hats off, kudos on your icebreaker speech. Fabulous. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arav, for the evaluation. You really spoke from heart, and I think it has gone to Toastmaster Anthony. Thanks for that. So this brings an end of the evaluation round for the prepared speeches. Now for the overall meeting, we have wonderful role players or the evaluators for different types. So the first evaluator from the tag team is the timer. So I request Toastmaster Raghu to come on stage and give us the timer's report. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me or not?
Yes,
We
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you, Raghu.
Okay. Thank you very much for confirming that. Okay. Most of the speakers today was DTMs, which means that don't time me. Our keynote speaker today took 22 minutes, 45 seconds, but then the content was so enthralling that people could not stop themselves from asking questions. The question and answer session, which was supposed to be for 10 minutes, went beyond 20 minutes, and then it was not enough. As there was a ad which says that nothing is enough, right? So the topic was as a good. Today, DTM Lakshmi's speech was so good that I forgot to show her the green card. Then I had to show directly yellow card. But then she went beyond her speech time, and 7:51 was the time. I think she tried to wrap it within the time, but then because of my fault, she wasn't able to. That's my problem. Toastmaster Anthony, your speech was supposed to be 4 to 6 minutes, but you went beyond that, 7 minutes 15 seconds. Toastmaster Shahid, your speech evaluation was 2 minutes 40 seconds. Toastmaster Arav, you went beyond your specified time limit today. That is beyond 3.5 minutes. One thing is that we are all evolving, we are all learning. I would want to do a session again on this specific part where we can improve ourselves, whether it is giving speeches or giving evaluations. But then till then, good job, everyone. We are on the path of learning, on the path of becoming a better version. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu, for the apt report. And I request Toastmaster Meryl for the R counters report. Over to you, Toastmaster Meryl.
Yeah, so today it was very enthralling experience. The time is flying by. I'll come straight to the R counters. DTM Lakshmi barely did. I could remember one instance where she could say in her speech. Toastmaster Anthony, about 5 to 6. Toastmaster Sahid, 6. And Toastmaster Arav, 5. That's the counter I could hear. So back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meryl, for the crisp report. It's good that, less number of people are using these filler words. Now, coming to the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Vrinda, over to you.
Thank you, TMOD Pratik. And I was so enthralled that everybody has used the word of the day, right from Dr. Remya, Dr. Rajkumar, our guests, and everybody else, Pratik, Dr. Mary, Shahid, DTM Lakshmi, TM Anthony, Meral, everybody used it. So I just want to be saying that thank you so much. And as far as the grammar or good usage is concerned, to be very honest, I lost myself in the speeches that I forgot to note. I just remembered maybe 5 minutes back that I forgot to note everything. But yeah, that's the beauty of great speeches, great language usage. I didn't find anything that was like that I had to point out. So I really feel bouncy right now. And with that, I hand it over back to you, Pratik. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda. So this almost brings an end for our today's session, which consisted of keynote speeches, 2 speeches, and the evaluations, communication, and the leadership we are trying to improve. So let me conclude my round, which is on self-talk. So you might have seen so many speakers coming on the stage, speaking in different ways. You will observe that some people are speaking from their heart, and some people are using their mind, and some people are using both the things to have a controlled environment in front of the stage. So what overall I try to say is sometimes conscious self-talk is important. When you are in a official meeting, you have to use your mind more than your heart, and when you are in a family, you have to use your heart more than your mind. But a fine balance between the two is important consciously. So this is all bring to end to my theme, which is self-talk. I will hand over the baton to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Vrinda or Toastmaster Raghu, to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. And just as it is said that these days, healthy is the new rich. So Health is wealth, healthy is the new rich is the mantra for today. And Sattvic Toastmasters is the platform where like-minded people who want to be working on their self-development as well as passionate about healthy lifestyle meet out here. And with that, I would like to bring the meeting to a closing today. And I would also invite any guest to share their feedback. Any of the guests would like to unmute and speak? How
So
about...
yeah. Vrinda, yes.
Yes. Can I call upon guest Satish to unmute and speak?
Or Paramesh, you can also speak. Like any guest, you can come up and just
Yes, please.
how you found the session. You can just say that. How was it? How was your experience?